Good morning, legends. It's very early Easter Monday. A little bit of wind coming through. It's a little bit chilly. Didn't bring a jumper. I'm heading up the coast now. I'm going to meet up with Nathan from Landmark Fishing Adventures. Very excited. We're going to soak some baits, go to spin for some tailor, maybe catch some sand whiting, just have some fun on the sand. So we'll get the chest cam, we'll get all the rods and everything out of the car. We'll start heading up the coast and we'll see you legends shortly. It's going to be a very nice morning, very chilly. Season's definitely changing, but very keen to catch up with Nathan and have some fun. We'll see you soon on the beach. Welcome back, everyone. It's that time of the morning where we can start to see what we're doing. We've set up a burley bag, but unfortunately, I brought in a undesirable, massive, big black ray. So I've actually tried to catch some fresh whiting or some herring. Hasn't been any interest. So I just put on some metals at the moment, and this morning we're actually going to try to bring the fish to us. As opposed to last session where we walked up and down the beach, we're going to try to bring some fish to us. But this big stingray right at the burley bag, I mean, I guess in one way it's not too bad because I can see where it is, and hopefully it doesn't go anywhere near my big bait. But yeah, I'm just going to do 2 to 3 casts with lures. I'll change the profiles. I'll go back to putting on some squid. That is a very big ray. We'll get that on camera once we can see a little bit more. Lots of keen anglers to my left, enjoying their Easter Monday morning. But yeah, I haven't been able to catch a sand whiting or herring or anything for bait yet. So hopefully after this cast, I'll go and put the Vex pre-made rigs back on with the burley cage. I am going to wind in my big bait now because that stingray is making me a little bit uneasy. Hopefully I can find some fish this morning. Oh, there's my lure. Get that away from the ray. All right, check my big bait. Then I reckon I'll put on the squid again. Probably can see, we'll go down, you can probably see that big ray there. Certainly don't want that on my bigger rod. Got the 13-foot bluefish from Assassin, and I've just got the 9'6" Affinity, also from Assassin, in my hand. So I'm just going to do, some metals, some smaller CID sprats, some shiver sticks. I'll do some micro jigs. I mean, this area looks good for some skippy, especially with those established weed beds. So that big ray though, I'm very mindful of that big ray right in at the burley bag here. Hopefully it doesn't swim out and find my bait. Lots of other keen anglers out this morning. Haven't been able to locate a sand whiting or any bait yet to throw out fresh. So I do have some frozen baits, but I would have ideally preferred to have a fresh bait out this morning, but it is what it is. I'm gonna take the glow stick off that big rod shortly. That wind's just picking up now. We'll see if we can find some fish on this Easter Monday. Beautiful way to start the day, regardless. I'll probably do 2 more casts. This one's a 30-gram metal. So that stingray, let's make sure it doesn't go anywhere near my bait rod, because I'm not keen on wrestling with that big ray. It just shows as soon as you put some burley out, definitely promotes activity. Obviously we don't want the stingray, but still didn't take long for something to come around and have a sniff at the burley bag. So we'll do 1 more cast with this. And yeah, just alternate between the bait and the lures this morning on the Affinity. And then with bluefish, we'll just soak some baits this morning while we're here. Got some really good cloud cover. Probably the most amount of people I've seen on the beach for a while. But again, it's Easter Saturday. You'd be absolutely kidding yourself if you think you're going to go find a beach where there's no one around. So you just got to be mindful, respectful, and let everyone enjoy their time on the water. And hopefully some of us catch some fish. Beautiful sunrise. I'll get a shot of the clouds behind me shortly. You can see there, epic colours in the sky. We'll do this last cast. I don't know, maybe go micro jig. I love an early morning tailor, to be honest. So I will keep some larger metals on as well throughout the morning. But I reckon we'll go down to a micro jig now. I haven't seen any herring off this beach for a while. Lots of bait last time me and Nathan came up, but yeah, haven't actually seen any schools. All right, let's do a lure change and get back casting. The good thing with these fast clips, very easy to alternate between, you know, your small to medium lures and any bait rigs. This got the Vex pre-made rig. Put that fast clip on. Obviously got a little bit of weed around this morning. Just got some squid on. Got that burley cage down there. That's my sinker as well with that lead. I'm going to put some pollard that I've mixed up in my bait bucket. These are really good, these bait buckets. Go and check them out at your local tackle stores. I've mixed up a bit of pollard and oil and some crusty bits and pieces. And I jam a little bit in there. My oil is out there. It is definitely attracting. You know, we had a stingray come through. Put a bit of sand in there, just hold it on cast. Wash the hands in the bucket. But we've definitely seen a few fish come through, but it's probably about, I know, 20 rods out this morning, that being Easter Monday. But really quiet, really super quiet. But you know, on the water, can't complain. Nathan's met up with me from Landmark Fishing Adventures. He's got 2 big rods out, whereas I've got the 9'6" Affinity from Assassin. And so the beauty of this rod is I can throw out some small baits, and I can also alternate and throw some lures, which I have been doing, but I haven't had any interest. I've got muleys, I've got squid, haven't got any freshly caught fish this morning, because I unfortunately haven't been able to locate any. So I do really like the structure here at the moment as well. Got some really nice established weed beds right on the shoreline, and then some clean, you know, sandy spots, and then more weeds sort of on either side. There is reef around here as well where we're fishing. But all we can do is try. So I'm going to alternate between bait and lures for probably the next hour. Have a good crack at it. And I said I've just got some muleys on some gangs on the 13-foot bluefish until I can locate a sand whiting or herring. I pretty much just got store-bought bait this morning. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would prefer a fresh bait. But yeah, I've seen a few fish come through right at our feet in the burley bag. Obviously the black stingray as well. Other than that, it's been very quiet. So I haven't had any interest at all in the squid. And again, I'll put muley tails on. I'll mix up the little bait that I present on these long shank hooks from Vex. But generally, this time of year, it's quite easy most of the time to come down and get, you know, a handful of sand whiting, whether you want to feed or some fresh bait. But yeah, this morning's been very quiet, so still got a little bit of overcast, you know, cloud cover behind me, so I will throw sort of those medium to large shiver sticks as well. But yeah, instead of walking the beach this morning, we've set up some burley and hopefully try to bring a few fish through to us. So Nathan's there, having a crack himself. He's got 2 big rods out. Instead I've got, you know, the 9'6" and the 13-foot. But yeah, so no interest on this little bit of squid. I'll just leave that sitting there at the moment. And I'll wind in my bait rod. That's the thing, when you've got a couple of rods on the go, you've got to, you know, constantly be checking your bait, because if you've got no bait in the hooks, generally, you're not going to catch anything. So, haven't got a grapnel sinker this morning because it is quite calm. No, just checking my bait. Nathan's asking mine, I said I wish. So no, just checking the bait, mate. Just saying, you know, when you've got a couple of rods on the go, you've got to make sure you're checking your baits. There is a lot of weed in the area, but, you know, that's part of it. These areas, you know, they've got good structure. There's also weed, and as suspected, no bait on the hook, so I'm generally not going to catch too much without any bait on the hooks. So, but yeah, it's absolutely packed up here this morning, so just got another little Vex rig you can buy from all your local tackle stores. And I'll just show you this little bit of foam here. It just sort of helps keep that bait presented. Now, I think I've caught some seaweed on this rod. I'll pull this rod in. So this rod, generally I'll be holding, I won't leave it in the rod holder. I'll just wind this in quickly. Definitely got some seaweed on it. I'll put a bait back on the big rod, and then I'll alternate between lures and bait. But yeah, it's been very, very quiet this morning. That's okay, we've got to keep on keeping on. So let's bring this in. Yep, nothing on that. Put that to the side. Put a bait on the big rod and keep trying. That's all we can do is keep trying. But you said the fast clip's super handy, super quick. Just unclip that like so. And then I'll chuck a lure on in a sec. All right, put a big bait on now. Just got another bait container here and just said I'm only using small baits this morning. That's just a little bit of oil I have left over. I'll run that down to the gangs. Now I don't mind that I'm going to have a gang exposed. I'll show you once I do this, chuck this muley on. So the oil on this is just again just going to create more oil in the water, but there's plenty of oil out there at the moment, so you never know. But it's cloudy, feels fishy. So again, I'm only going to cover, and that's going to be exposed, which I don't mind because it's going to just give more hook exposure. I'll get my latex Vex bait thread out of my pocket. A little bit messy with the oil, but you know, you're part of it when you're soaking baits. I would obviously love to have a fillet of herring or a Sam whiting, but I don't. Let's wrap this up. Wrap. And again, I'm not launching it out too far. No need. I must say, I do like the overcast little half hitch there. Lock it in. Like the hands on the clothes. And we'll just launch that out. I'd say it would have been maybe some pickers on the last cast. Instead, I'm only just going to go just past that wave. I'm not putting much effort in at all in that cast. Size 3 star sinker on that. And I'm just going to walk that back into the rod holder. And now I've got to decide what lure I'm going to throw on the 9'6" Affinity. All right, we'll get casting. Hopefully one of us can find a fish, but I said you can see lots of people up the beach and no one has pulled in a fish yet, so see how we go. Like, it looks fishy, it feels fishy, it's very calm, overcast. So I've just put on the 110 shiver stick. I had a follow just then. Nathan missed a really good bite on his bait rod. I am going to check my bait rod in a second, but I just had a follow, just had a fish turn at the last minute right where this weed is. So the reason I put on the white again is just because with the overcast conditions, it sort of stands out more in the water. I'll do one more cast with this 110 shiver stick and then I might try again for a Sam whiting. I got one little hit, one little nudge on the 10 gram silver micro jig as well. I think that was a small herring. So lots of people fishing this morning and no one has managed to land a fish. It's about 6:45 at the moment. I'll probably put in another half an hour, I think. But I did have a follow just a few casts ago. So I'm just going to slow down this retrieve, really give these fish a chance if they want to hit it. It is a slow morning, but I am going to check the bait rod. And then I'll probably, more than likely, try for a Sam whiting again. Just keep alternating, but yeah, very, very slow morning. And this is absolutely typical and normal for fishing these metro beaches. You're not going to catch fish every time. I'm just saying to Nathan, a lot of these people that are out over Easter, they'll have a go now, they won't catch anything. And unfortunately, more than likely, they won't return. So, you know, you got to put in a lot of casts off these metro beaches to find fish. That's just the reality. It's just how it is. Now I reckon I'll have no bait on this, other than some seaweed, which feels like there's weed on there now. Be nice to hear that drag go on a fish, but that's just a clump of weed that's gathered on the line. But I certainly expect to have no bait on this. So I'll get another bait on this and throw it out. Nathan's just holding his rod now. After he got that bite, he's just going to hold the rod and see if he can actually feel those bites. And as suspected, just a bit of seaweed. So we'll get that off the line. Generally where your knot is to your leader to your braid, you'll get a lot of weed build up as well. So make sure you give that a good clean. And yeah, set on the hooks and sinker. That stingray is still here. That is a big ray. But hopefully it doesn't go anywhere near me. All right, I'll go get some bait, chuck this one out again, and said persist probably for another half an hour and call it a morning. But yeah, it feels fishy, very overcast. So Nathan's there, got his 2 rods set up, but can only try. Hey? Can only try.
I'm feeling confident, mate. Something's about to happen.
I know. Let's hopefully. All right, let's see how it goes. Let's get some bait. So it's that time of morning, got to start calling it for what it is. So these bait buckets, really good. Super cheap. And again, you don't have to keep using plastic bags. And I'm just going to empty the remaining bits of the pollard and oil. I'm going to get rid of the fish frames in my burley bag. Get them all emptied into the ocean. Slowly pack up. Nathan's already packed up one of his rods. I said, there's the anticipation for me, I love planning sessions and setting up and getting out there and having a crack, but so the reality is you have so many of these sessions where you can't buy a fish, and that's just, again, the reality of fishing metro. That's just my leftover oil. I'll empty that because obviously going back to work this week, I don't think I'll get out again, so no need to keep that in there. Just get all that cleaned up while we're down here. I'll pack away this Vex pre-made rig now. But yeah, not even, I think Nathan got quite a decent bite earlier on, missed the hooks. But other than that, it's been very, very quiet. So we'll just get this Vex pre-made rig out, and again, I'll just get the foam. Lots of these rigs in here. Get that out of the tray. And the beauty about, again, the fast clips, especially when you're fishing with kids, I'll show you, it just saves so much time. So I'm going to wind this in. It's going to probably have a bit of seaweed on it. Then after I pack this up, I reckon I'll probably have 2 more throws. So yeah, I've got seaweed on here because obviously it's coming to the weed bed. So we'll wind this in, we'll get the seaweed off. And then I'll show you how easy it is to pack up these rigs. But yeah, no screaming runs this morning, no head shakes, no tight lines. So it's just part of it. But yeah, normally don't have too much trouble finding sand whiting. That big rays right down there again, just hovering in the water. I'll make sure we don't get the hooks near him because I don't want to hook him by accident. We'll just be just about to go over that. Here we go. So we'll bring this in. And I've just got a little rod holder. So lots of weed up here. A little rod holder. I'll just show you, once we clean this all up, how easy it is. Make sure you get the bait off the hooks. Once the bait dries on your hooks, it's no fun for anyone trying to get that off. So, as I said, a ton of seaweed up here. We'll just grab that bit of squid. We'll throw it in the water in a minute, down at our feet. Get that off there. Burley cage, which obviously acts as our casting aid. And again, set that swing for a sec. Fast clip here. Just as how easy it is. Bang, done. That's disconnected. Get the foam and just wrap it in. And don't worry too much about the hooks flapping in the breeze. Once you undo it on your next session, they'll come straight out, and that's done. So that goes back in the tray for another day, have another think when you're going to go next. Put that back in the bag. I'm going to quickly throw probably 2 more profiles with the lures. Put all these trays away. It's a big, long process, this. We'll get these trays put in. Love this assassin bag. I've had this for so many years. These zippers, they're not going to break. They'll last you a lifetime. All right, so here we go. What are we going to pick? I might just try the blue. Might try the blue metal. We'll grab that. Get it. Oh, it gets messy. It does get messy with all the sand on your fingers. All right, so we'll throw this 30 gram metal, and then I reckon I'll do maybe one more micro jig. So I reckon I've got 6 casts left in me. Nathan's done. He's caught it. Packed up. I said it's probably taken both me and him longer to actually set up and pack up than actually fish this morning. That's how it goes, you know. Like we weren't coming out for a massive session, just a very quick catch up. Certainly both hopeful of catching some fish, but like I said, at least 10 other anglers and no one has pulled in a fish. So like, it is disappointing, don't get me wrong, you know. I can understand how disappointed you could be. You know, you got all this anticipation, all this excitement. Gonna go out, gonna go catch a fish, and you go out and you don't even get a bite. But don't give up. Try somewhere different. Try in the middle of the day. Try in the afternoon sea breeze. Fish the evening high tide. You know, there's fish out there. You've just got to put the time in. It's just not the reality. You're going to go to a beach, cast your line, your bait, your lure, whatever you've got, and catch a fish. It just does not work that way. It's just, it doesn't. That's the reality. So I've had one nudge on a little micro jig, one follow on the 110 shiver stick, and that's it for me. And seen a couple of fish in the weed. Might have been mullet, might have been small tailor, but that's it. Nothing else. And this beautiful black stingray at our feet, but that's fine. You know, every day on the beach, on the sand, is an absolute blessing. We're able to do this. So 2 more casts with this 30 gram metal. And then I'm only going to do 1 more lure. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do the white jig, the silver jig, but that's it. 1 more lure after this and then I'm done. Nathan's been very kind and waited for me. Very fishy, very lifeless. But as an off camera, this is the reality, isn't it, of our metro sessions. Like I'm not a gun, I'm not a pro. We do a lot of sessions for nothing, but we're talking as well, the mornings are really tight. You only get a small period of time. The nights obviously fish better, but you know, we just went out where we could catch up. We'll have another crack again soon, I'm sure, but I said we are fishless. So don't eat some Monday donuts, mate.
Oh, well.
It's done.
Not the only ones.
Yeah, that's right. There's a whole line of people. I'm not going to flip over the camera now, but there's a whole line of people to our left and no one has pulled out anything but seaweed. So we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. I'll probably make this a part 1 and we'll see you on part 2 very soon. Cheers. Welcome back everyone. This is part 2 of this week's video. Last Easter Monday we headed up with Nathan from Landmark Fishing Adventures and we got a lot of hopes and dreams. This morning I'm down here with Tom. We've set up a burley bag. I've got the 13-foot Assassin Bluefish. I'm going to throw out some fresh mullet that I secured yesterday. I've got the 9'6" Affinity from Assassin. I'm going to throw that and spin with some, you know, some small lures, micro jigs, soft plastics, metal slicers, some CID shiver sticks and sprats. We're going to see what we can find. Very strong Easter this morning. It's going to be quite hard to find the fish. They're going to go down deep. Very calm, no swell. But I'll set up the burley bag. We'll start casting. We'll get you the chest cam shortly. We'll see how we go. Well, it's coming up to about 6 o'clock. Had this fresh mullet on for an hour. Not even a stingray. So we'll just wind this in and have a look at the bait. Managed to get a bucket of herring already before first light, so we'll throw in a few lures shortly, see if we can pick up a few more. And we might even do some unweighted bait because it is actually a lake this morning. It's not even like we're at the beach right now, so I'm just going to check this bait. I'm going to put another fresh piece on anyway. And yeah, it has had a little bit of interest from the pickers, so I'll get another fresh bit of bait out. And then we'll keep casting. But yeah, this easterly, really strong, really annoying, very unpleasant. Don't think the kids would have been very happy to come down this morning, but we'll get another piece. I filled up these mullet yesterday that I caught, so it's quite fresh bait. Got some runners coming through, and then we'll put another piece. How you going? Morning. We'll put another piece of fresh bait on. What's that? You get another one? Yeah, that's a herring bending that, so we can't really see it. Tom brought down the light. Yeah, I should have brought my smaller outfit. I've got the 9'6". Nice little hezzer there. He can swim off, Tom, if you want to release him. Yeah, look at the rod bending. That's cool. All right, let's get another bit of mullet on, and then we can get some light and keep casting. But yeah, it's going to be very calm, so I don't really expect too much with the fresh mullet, but you never know. Let's have a cast. That's why you fish light, because Tom's actually he's getting his drag pulled on these little herring. Oh, lovely. Oh, a little bit better, but yeah, Tom's fishing the right gear this morning. Super light, super sensitive. These fish are certainly not big, I've just put on the 11-gram shiver stick from CID. I am actually, what I want to do, because these fish are sitting in my burley, I might just go and put a little long shank hook on. I've got fresh mullet in the bag. And I might just throw a little hook out. Oh, and there it goes, through the hook. All right, we'll do one more with this shiver stick. Right, yeah, I think I might just go lob a little bit of bait in this burley here. And see if we can get him to take bait. There we go. Just, they're very tentative this morning. So every cast we are getting inquiries, but they're just not jumping all over the lure. So I am inclined to go and get some bait and just see if they're gonna, whoop, off it goes, off your pop. As you can see, it's really calm, but they are in the oil, they're bubbling up, so we know they're here. We've caught plenty already before first light. So I might just do one more cast, and I might put the little white jig on, and then I'll go and put a bit of mullet on it, probably an unweighted hook, long shank, and just lob it in there and just see if they want to pick it up. Nothing on my big rod. I've got the 13-foot bluefish from Assassin, fresh mullet from yesterday, and yeah, no inquiries, no stingrays yet, because it's very calm. I would expect a stingray to come lurking, especially with the burley set out. So just slow winding that back in. Yeah, I might do. Oh, there we go, right in close in that burley. So these are perfect bait size. If you want some bait, come down to the local beaches and have a crack. A lot of fun. Be more fun with Tom's setup, that's for sure. That rod just bends. So much fun. Yeah, see if I can get this one in. I've lost plenty of multiple fish already. This is on the 11-gram shiver stick. Great profile for these local beaches. Let's see if we can beach him in. And we might keep, well, beautiful. It's nice when they even kindly throw the lure off. You want to have a swim off, buddy? Or you don't want to swim off? Come on. All right, we'll put this one in the bucket. He almost got his freedom, but we'll keep this one. And we might just do one more lure change. And then, yeah, I might put on a hook and go bait. Yeah, so we've got enough for dinner. We'll keep some for bait. So the neighbour across the road, he's a pensioner. He wants a few for dinner. So we'll probably get a couple more, but I'll change that lure over quickly, put this one in the bucket. And this wind is not very nice at all. Tom's having a lot of fun there. All right, still a lure change. And then we'll chuck on some bait, I reckon. I've just quickly grabbed the Vexed Kids whiting rig. Got my fast clip there, and I've actually taken the sinker off and put a little bottom meat on there. So that's going to be my sinker, my casting aid, and gives me a second bait. I'm just going to lob this out. There is a stingray, I believe, as well. So hopefully it doesn't find my bait, because it won't be too fun on this. I'm just going to lob that out there. Very small. I think the bottom meat's 10 grams, so it's quite light. It definitely is a 5 gram this morning as well. And I'll just see if this bait gets any interest as opposed to the lures. Has been pretty slow now. So this wind's very uncomfortable. I'm just going to let that sort of sit there, just doing its thing. Got 2 little mullet cubes on it, fresh mullet from yesterday. And the good thing about having that fast clip is if I don't get any bites, I can put this in the bucket before I pack up and switch back over lures. But said I'm watching Tom. He's getting a few inquiries, and I'll just gently bounce that back off the bottom. So it's only 10 grams, so it hasn't got a lot of weight. Oh, I just got a good bite then. So here we go. So I just got quite a decent bite then. But I've got mullet, so it's quite a good bait to have on the hook. We'll see if we can tempt something to pick up the bait. Let's just slowly wind that back in. Hopefully the stingray doesn't find it. Sometimes bait will trump, you know, your artificials, and other times artificials. I've got a few decent little bites, and I'll pull it in, see how we're going. We'll cast it out one more time. So these rigs from Vex, they save a lot of time, especially over the school holidays. Just go to your local tackle store, go and arm yourself with a few packets, and then you can head down the beach. Obviously when it's not as windy, because it's really unpleasant. And you bring the kids down over the school holidays and have a lot of fun. I'll just check if I've got any bait on these hooks. So yep, still got some on the little bottom meat there. It's got 2 assist hooks on it. I'll just quickly put that second hook back in the bit of cubed mullet. And keep it on. And that long shank, just make sure that's got a decent bit of hook exposure. We'll just lob that out again. Try one more time. And then we'll put on back on the lures, and we'll be heading off soon because it is cold, it is windy, and the fishing is not red hot. I hope that stingray does not go and find my bait on my bigger rod there. Yeah, it is definitely changing. So I'm getting little nibbles, nothing substantial. So you can either leave the bait sort of stationary, or you can just slowly lift it back in, create a little bit of movement, and sometimes that'll entice a flathead if it's on the bottom, or a school of skippy or something to turn and have a bit of a nibble. But I have to say, I thought the bait would have got hit, but so they might have switched off now as well. So we'll do probably a couple of lures shortly, and then yeah, we'll call it a morning. Like I said, just because you got fresh bait doesn't mean the fish are going to play the game. Nothing on that. You got the, what's that one? Little metal. Yeah, certainly they're still in there. You can see them in the oil, but yeah, I would have thought this bit of mullet would have got absolutely smashed. So I'm just going to slow wind that back in, give the fish a chance to find it. But yeah, it's certainly very quiet this morning. So I've just taken off the glow stick, just off the 13-foot bluefish from Assassin. Haven't had any inquiries on the fresh mullet, but what I'm doing with the glow stick now is I'll just undo it quickly, and I'll just flip over the battery like so. Redo it up, nice and loose, and then that battery doesn't obviously get turned on if it gets bumped in the tackle bag or the tray, wherever you're going to put it, and yeah, put it back in the tray. But yeah, I'm going to have a few more casts with lures, but yeah, I'll be packing up very shortly. It's certainly switched right off. Lots of keen anglers down the groin, a few anglers to my left, and said hopefully me and Tom will head out to a local reef tomorrow and chase some more tailor. But yeah, I'll have a couple more casts now quickly, and we'll race out of here because it is absolutely unpleasant. Oh, Tom's bailing, as you can see. He's got things to do. He's had enough. He's got, you know, his fair share of herring up, absolutely. What have we got? 6:45. I just checked the time. So I've got work. My beautiful wife's got work. Just put on the 5-gram white jig. It's so, yeah, this easterly, it can definitely shut the fish down too. They'll stay down deeper. So I'll just slow wind that back in. We'll do maybe 2-3 casts on this. And then I'm going to do the Halco Twisty, probably the 10-gram. I'll pack the bait right up. I'll put out that whiting rig on this in the rod holder, and then we'll pack up. So that's going to take me probably half an hour anyway. That'll get me home before I've got to start work. But yeah, they've just completely shut down. Not too much activity on the surface either. No hits on this cast. You know, but a lot of the time off these metro beaches too, you'll get a second run. So, you know, you get the people like me that come down before sunrise and set up, and then you'll get the people that'll come down sort of, you know, between 7 and 9, and they'll still catch fish, absolutely. So, you know, obviously everyone's got their preference, and that's why fishing's so personal, I find, and it's whatever works for you, whatever you like to do, or whatever, you know, whenever you can get out as well. A lot of it's a time factor, you know, just figuring out when you can actually head out and have a fish as well a lot of the time. But nothing on this. Oh, a little hit. I'll slow it down. Little, very, very slightest bump on that one, on that cast. So we'll do one more with this. Probably a micro, maybe the Halco. Just gonna chuck this bag. It's the rag's doing really well, so I've put a bigger rag in this morning. So again, I soaked that last night. It seems to really hold that oil in quite well. So oil for me is definitely the key for your burley, and obviously whatever else you want to put in there. I usually do bread, fish frames, whatever I've really got in the freezer, or what left over from the kids' meals. Sometimes they don't eat everything, and that's okay as long as they eat their veggies and their healthy stuff. But yeah, really shut down now. It's amazing how quickly the bike can shut down. So I said I reckon I'll try the Halco Twisty, and then I'll just put on the trusty silver shiver stick, and then we'll start getting organised to get out of here. Hopefully that Stingray doesn't grab my big rod. That's the thing, is you don't bring it, then you see activity and you could miss out on fish. And I think it's just always, if you can, bring a second rod if you've got the time. Because a lot of the times when I've packed up or I've put the burley, empty the burley bag out or even prep the fish, you get a lot of good fish come through then. So you also get a lot of stingrays as well. All right, we'll do a lure change. And yeah, so probably one or two more, then we're getting out of here. Day when you've got to start. No, it's a sad day when you're in the day when you've got to start packing up. Still got the oil there doing its job, but no fish even breaching the surface. I've had this little vexed pre-made rig out for about 15 minutes, and something just picked that up on the retrieve. Okay, that's cool. Don't know if I've still got it. But as I was winding that in, something just came and had a little nibble. Oh, and it was a herring, I think, and it's jumped off. Okay, so we had a herring on here and it jumped off, but I was just winding that in. I still got my bait. What I'll do quickly, I'll just do a cast and retrieve and see if I can tempt a fish. But I just had that soaking while I was packing everything else up. I did have a fish on then, but the story of this morning, very, very slow. I've managed a few for the kids tonight, a couple for bait. We'll just slowly wind this back in. Then we're going to pack up. And again, the beauty of these fast clips is I'll just take this rig off. I'll put it back on the blue foam that the Vex pre-made rig comes with. And again, come on, chase it in. So I'm just going to slow wind that back in. Similar to using a lure when it's really slow. Just bounce that bait back. Just tempt those fish to commit to hitting the bait. I don't want to leave it stationary. And you'll pick up a lot of skippy and flathead off these beaches at the right time, where you slowly bring that bait back in. We'll do one more, and then we're getting out of here because it is cold. Not too bad now with the sun up. But yeah, those little vexed bottom meats and micro juniors, you can just use them as your sinker aid. And again, it's another set of hooks, so it gives you another opportunity to actually pin a fish. But I actually picked up the rod when I first walked down, and the herring just jumped on, but not to be. So I'm really just want to create some disturbance on the sand there. Give these fish, there we go. Not a big one, but again, it's on that retrieve. So just keep the line tight. So I am fishing with bait, but I'm sort of working it like a little lure, just because these fish are so tentative. And they're certainly not the biggest fish. It'll probably jump and we'll probably lose it. So we'll see how we go. And it's actually a bit nice now the sun's come up. It has been a very challenging morning, that's for sure. There we go. And off he goes. So that was just on that bottom one. It just came and grabbed a bit of skin. So it wasn't actually properly hooked. But we had a little bit of fun there for 30 seconds. We'll slow wind that back in again. I'm not actually keeping any more now anyway, so that would have got released anyway. Get a nice little, as a hit. There's a lot of the fish, especially when you're fishing with lures, not so much bait. When you're bringing them back up on this bank, you will lose a lot of fish. You'll lose a lot of really good tailor and bigger fish too in the winter months. So just be mindful of that. Try to keep the line tight. Don't pull too hard back towards yourself. I can see plenty of herring in the water, but I'm going to just wind this in slowly and see if we can get another one to commit. And I'll rip the bit of mullet off these hooks and pack this up. Just go nice and slow. Couple of lifts. All right, let's go. All right, time to pack it up. Had our fun. Very, very quiet morning. And again, I'll just rip this mullet off and go into the water. They can get a free feed now. And you want to go get camera shy this morning, these fish. It's generally how it works. So mullet's really good bait because the skin it's so tough. Throw that in. Try not to hook yourself, Nolan. And again, like I said, with these fast clips, that's why I like it, especially when you're fishing with kids over the school holidays. You're just going to save yourself a ton of time, not having to keep tying knots to your leader and swivels and rigs. Just going to rip this bit of it. I don't want to leave the skin on because when it dries, it goes over the barb and you can't put another bit of bait on. So off you go. And you see, just get this fast clip, bang, bang, bang. And then I'll just wrap that back up in the foam and I'll use that another time. All right, let's get out of here. It's my time to start packing up. I'll show you what we've got. Certainly didn't break any records this morning. As you can see, sun is now hit the water. I've still got the Vex pre-made rig, the kids whiting rig on the 9'6". The 13-foot bluefish is gone. Old mate's having a kayak, more kayakers coming. That's the catch there. Said, not gonna break any records. Put them back in the bucket. A few baits, bit of dinner. Like I said, really slow this morning. I was pretty hopeful though with the barometer being high, but it said sometimes that barometer being high for a few days can really slow the bite down. I'll leave this 9'6" Affinity just soaking for a little bit longer. But yeah, it's time to clean up the fish, call it a morning, and hopefully we'll see your legends on the sand where the fishing is a little bit more, bit more action, more kayakers there. Sun's hit the water, 7 o'clock on this very windy Saturday morning. Again, thanks for watching. Nathan from Landmark Fishing Measures, thanks again for meeting up with us last week. But we'll certainly catch up soon. I'm sure we'll pin some fish over the coming months. Said the season's changing. A lot of these beaches now are getting a really nice sharp slope on those morning high tides coming up next month. We're going to see a lot of fish. So thanks for watching as always. Stay safe, be kind, and we'll see you in the water again soon. Cheers.